Hi everyone, I'm Nitika Anand and today I'll be explaining the concept of polar and non-polar covalent compounds. So first of all, we all know that what are covalent compounds. Covalent compounds are the compounds that are formed by sharing of electrons. So now these covalent compounds are of two types. Polar covalent compounds and non-polar covalent compounds. Polar covalent compounds are the compounds in which electrons are unequally shared. And in a non-polar covalent bond, electrons are equally shared. Let's understand it through some examples. So here you can see it's a molecule of HCl where both the atoms are sharing one pair of electron. Here chlorine is more electronegative than hydrogen, which means that its electron attaining capacity or its electron gaining capacity is more than that of hydrogen. Though both of them are non-metals, they both will form a covalent bond, but because chlorine is more electronegative, it attracts the electrons towards itself. This capacity of attracting electrons towards itself is more stronger in chlorine than in hydrogen. So what happens is that this chlorine, it attracts this shared pair of electron towards itself, and this electron cloud shifts toward chlorine, and chlorine attains a little negative charge. Due to the more electronegativity of chlorine, it attracted this shared pair of electron. Earlier this was here, but due to its strong electronegativity, it attracted this pair of electron towards itself, due to which it attained a little negative charge. It is not totally negative charge, it's a little negative charge. So we represent it using delta. Delta negative means chlorine is not totally negative. It just has a little charge of negative. So we use delta negative, where delta represents a little charge. Now because this shared pair of electron shifted towards chlorine, it became delta negative, little negative, and hydrogen became positive. So hydrogen would be delta positive. So in this bond, chlorine is more electronegative than hydrogen, so it attracts the electron towards itself, which causes the electron cloud to shift or tilt towards chlorine. It shifted towards chlorine due to its more electronegativity, and it caused chlorine to have a little negative charge, not a complete negative, a little negative charge, which is represented by the symbol called delta. And hydrogen attains a little positive charge. So here delta positive and delta negative. We call it polar because two poles have been developed, a positive and a negative poles. So why do we call these compounds as polar compounds? Because due to the more electronegativity of one atom than another, the compound or the molecule, it attains two poles, a positive pole and a negative pole. Hence, it's called a polar covalent compound. And it's very obvious that they will conduct electricity because they have ions in it. So polar covalent compounds will conduct electricity due to the presence of these ionic charges in them. Now the question is, what if both the atoms, let's consider one fluorine and one fluorine, they both combine to form a molecule of F2. What if both of them have same electronegativity? To which side will the electron cloud shift? The answer to this question is very simple. there will be no shifting of the electron cloud due to the net charge 0. Both of them will have equal electronegativity, because of which both of them will pull the electron, this shared pair of electron, towards themselves with the same force. Due to which the net force would cancel out and it would become 0. Therefore, this shared pair of electron, this electron cloud, will move nowhere. It will remain stable. Hence, no poles are formed. No poles are formed because of their equal negativity and net charge 0. No poles are formed, so it's a non-polar covalent compound. So here, both the atoms are of same element, so they have same electronegativity. So they'll form a non-polar covalent bond. Note this thing, that this non-polar covalent compound will not conduct electricity. Why? Because of the absence of electrons. Since there are absence of ions. Since there are no ions, or since there are no ionic charges in them, they will not conduct electricity. Next, how do you identify if a molecule is polar or non-polar? It's very simple. If the difference of the electronegativity is below 0.5, then it's a non-polar covalent compound. But if the difference of the electronegativity is above 0.5, the molecule is polar. For example, let's consider this molecule first of HCl. Here, the electronegativity of hydrogen is 3 and electronegativity of chlorine is 2.1. When you subtract both of them, you get 0.9. So here 0.9 is above 0.5. Hence, it's a polar covalent compound. Basically, you have to find the difference of the electronegativity of both the atoms, and once you find it, you have to check whether it's above 0.5 or below 0.5. If it is below 0.5, then it's a non-polar covalent compound. If it is above 0.5, then it's a polar covalent compound. If I talk about chlorine and chlorine, then here the chlorine has electronegativity 3 and hydrogen has an electronegativity of 2.1. So chlorine and chlorine, when they both will form a molecule, it would be 3 and 3. So when we will find the difference of their electronegativity, it would be 0. It's obviously less than 0.5. Hence, it's a non-polar covalent compound. This is all about the polar and non-polar covalent compounds. Thank you for watching.